Welcome to the 5-Minute English Vocabulary Podcast. My name is Herbert Lee, and I'll be your host. Now you can easily improve your vocabulary without memorizing long lists of boring words, and still develop a powerful command of English. You'll learn the origin of words, or etymology, told as easy-to-remember stories. You'll also hear some jokes, and learn some idioms as well. Episode 4, Season 2. Many moons ago. For centuries, the moon has appeared to man to be distant and remote, quite untouchable and unreachable. So the moon has come to have the extended metaphorical sense of the impossible, that which is futile to pursue. Shakespeare wrote in Julius Caesar, Act 4, Scene 3, captures it in this sense. I had rather be a dog and bay the moon than such a Roman. Since then, the sense of being engaged in some fruitless enterprise has become common in good literary style. C.P. Snow in Strangers and Brothers, 1940, writes, I have never been in so many troubles. I am baying at the moon. Sometimes the group itself seems like a futile little invention of my own. I am thoroughly despondent. The moon's inaccessibility is perhaps the very reason it has been passionately desired and sought after. One example of this is to ask for the moon, or, slightly less commonly, to cry for the moon, meaning to want what is difficult or nearly impossible to obtain. The suggested origin for the phrase is children who cry for the moon in order to be able to play with it. A related expression is to promise someone the moon. That is to say, to promise somebody so much that it will be impossible to carry it out. Here's an example of how to use that. Their marriage was never very secure. During their courtship, he promised her the moon, and she, being a rather immature and naive girl, believed him. She soon found out the truth. A further extension of the same basic meaning comes in to pay or offer somebody the moon for something. That is, to offer a seemingly impossible large amount of money. The person is so desperate, he will go to the very limit of his resources to get what he wants. So an example would be, in football today, transfer fees are so high that the various clubs find that they have to pay the moon to get the players they want. But what could be more romantic than two lovers hand in hand in the moonlight? It is a universal scene, depicted in countless paintings and sung in many, many popular songs and shown on many movies. But things aren't always so perfect and ideal. The hours of darkness can be the perfect cover for illegal activity, with the moon providing just enough light to carry out the task, but not enough to make detection easy. There are strong connotations here of illegality, a far cry from the sugary sentimentality of romance in the moonlight. Moonlighting is an American term, although it's becoming more common in Britain, which means doing a second-hand job in addition to one's regular work. In these days of the 35 or 40-hour working week, many people are able to take on a second job, and indeed many are forced to do so in order to maintain their standard of living in the face of recession, inflation, and rising prices. There is nothing particularly wrong in that, but moonlighting implies that the second job is not declared to the government authorities in order to avoid paying taxes. To do a moonlight flip, a clearly illegal activity, comes up in this colloquial phrase. To do a moonlight flip is another instance of using the cover of darkness and the dim light provided by the moon, this time to disappear quickly and secretly from where one is living to avoid paying the bills. An alternative form of this expression had a certain vogue in the first half of the 20th century. And is equally concerning the moon. The quotation is from George Orwell's Down and Out in Paris and London. I remember how surprised she was at my asking her, instead of removing the clothes on the sly, shooting the moon being a common trick in our quarter. Moonshine, on the other hand, is an American term. One sense of it means airy, empty nonsense, which captures the ethereal and ephemeral quality of moonlight. More commonly in England, it is taken to mean illegally made liquor. In the early years of the 20th century, particularly during Prohibition, there was considerable distillation of spirits without the knowledge of the authorities, with the dim light of the moon as the best cloak for these illegal activities. Interestingly, there is a related 18th century British use that refers to the illegality of the distribution of spirits rather than to its production. Moonshine was brandy smuggled from France to England. So those are some of the idioms and phrases that are used in English about the moon. So until next time, this is Herbert Lee saying bye for now.